These set of buildings could be in any street, in any city, in any country of the world, with each of the homes having very similar habits. Each floor has 4 flats occupied by 4 different families. Let's look at what's happening in some of these houses. You see the tastemaker in this scene, the bit which makes the noodles tasty? How do you think that works? And do you note the number of ads the boy has watched in just half an hour of a TV program? Looks like every 2 out of 5 ads is a food ad. Let's check out 303. And here, these people who are in a hurry have gone shopping and returned with bags full of products, mostly food products, brightly packaged in plastic. And here, there seems to be a fun party. People have ordered in food and they are enjoying their pizzas, chips and soft drinks. But hey, isn't this what most of us do at some point or the other?
I love my junk food.
I love my pizzas.
I love my burgers.
I love my samosas.
And I love my colas. Yum yum. But does my junk food love me? Chinese food is great and pasta is better. And then we'll have ice creams, right? No, no, no. We'll have pastries. I love my junk food.
I love my pizzas.
I love my burgers.
I love my samosas.
And I love my colas. Yum yum. And I love my colas. Yum yum. But does my junk food love me?
By the way, I'm Ashwin.
And I'm Ved. And between the two of us, we have extremely different food habits.
Well, I'm a vegetarian.
And I just love my meat, especially when I get home.
So wait, tell me, what do you eat for snacks in the evening?
I just help myself to whatever's in the house. You know, like biscuits, chips.
Hold on a sec. So wait, do you mean products like this?
Yeah, pretty much.
So basically you don't care about what you eat?
I don't care.
I mean, do you know what goes into this stuff? I mean, if you did, I bet you would care. What about this instant noodles? Do you like this?
I love my instant noodles. I mean, but my mom never allowed me to have it.
Why does she say it's bad?
No, not really.
Well, you know, this is what your instant noodles has. Noodle powder, hydrolyzed groundnut protein, flavor enhancers, color.
Okay, Ashwin, stop. What are you talking about?
Look, I think I should take you to Mohan Uncle, the expert.
Okay, I guess that's a good idea.
Let's go. Hi, Uncle.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, Ashwin. How are you?
I'm fine. So I brought my friend Ved here.
Hello,
Hi,
Ved.
Uncle, I'm Ved.
Yeah, so this is Mohan Raja Uncle. He's an expert on food.
I'm not an expert on food, but I try to learn from other experts and scientists.
But Uncle, you're a management consultant, right? Ashwin, that's what Ashwin told me.
Yes.
Then why are you so interested in food?
See, I eat food, you eat food, we all eat food, right? And we should know what we're eating, isn't it? Why don't we go inside and talk?
Yeah,
Okay.
come inside.
Hi, my name is Bhavani and I love instant noodles. Lately my mom has been saying that instant noodles has wax, MSG and hydrogenated vegetable oil. So, and I haven't been listening to all of that stuff. It like goes through one ear, goes to my brain and it just goes blah 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 and it just comes out of the other ear. So basically I'm not hearing anything. And the other day I was doing a bit of research on the internet and I decided to find out whether like whatever my mom was saying was true. And I went to a website and by the time I finished reading, I felt so shocked. Instant noodles has wax. I mean, it's like eating a candle.
Can we sit here?
Sit.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uncle, We want to tell the world about the problems related with junk food. So, can you just talk briefly about junk food?
Human beings first ate only plants and some meat because they were hunters and gatherers at that point in time. Agriculture came into being some 10,000 years back, and post that we started eating grains. But it was post-industrial revolution, which is about 200 years back, that food habits have really undergone a drastic change. I'm seeing that in the last 10-15 years, even Indian food habits seems to be undergoing huge change.
So, Uncle, does this explain the use of chemicals in our food?
The other day I was reading somewhere that food industry uses more than 2,000 chemicals in food.
2,000 chemicals? Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, actually that's a lot.
But uncle, what are these things?
Instant noodles or many other factory processed foods, they use flavor enhancers. One of the most popular flavor enhancer is monosodium glutamate, or Ajinomoto as it is called. It's banned in most of the European countries because it's known to be toxic. There's a lot of information available on internet on the flavor enhancers. Why don't you take a look at that?
Monosodium glutamate are both powerful stimulators of insulin release. They will both make you powerfully hypoglycemic. And this is one of the paradoxical things about this sweetener aspartame, is if you look at the studies, particularly the ones reported to the FDA, one of the big complaints is it causes weight gain. Everybody's drinking it because they think it makes them lose weight. Actually, it makes you gain weight in a lot of people, and that's because it makes you hypoglycemic, and so you tend to eat and snack and nibble, and you gain weight. Monosodium glutamate will do the same thing. Now, the food manufacturers know this. That's why they put so much MSG in food, because it makes you hungry and you eat more of their food. And we know that MSG can induce intense rage if you just put minute concentrations in this part of the brain. If you do little micro injections.
See, the MSG that you are researching about is supposed to be harmful for human beings. It's reported to cause headaches, allergies, and it's also supposed to be bad for the nervous system. It's also called as excitotoxins. Why it is called excitotoxin? Because it excites the brain and makes our brain believe that the food is tasty when the food, there's actually nothing nutritious in that food.
But these labels, they never mention MSG, right?
See, Ashwin, in India, MSG is partially banned. And obviously, food companies are not going to write MSG on the label. So, MSG comes in various different names like added spices, flavor enhancers, or even hydrolyzed vegetable protein.
But hydrolyzed vegetable protein sounds like a good thing. It doesn't sound like a chemical at all.
That's why we have to be very careful about what's there on the label. And we must make it a habit to read the label and understand properly. I think we need to be more aware of what kind of chemicals are going in our food. Sometimes it's also said that some of these food preservatives impact children. They create a lot of hyperactivity in them. So I think the issue is to be more aware.
Hi, I'm Sham. I love climbing trees and I also love Chinese food. I cannot resist Chinese food and I have to have Chinese food at least twice a week. But my mom says Chinese food is bad for health. I don't know what's bad for health in Chinese food. But my dad says nothing because he also likes Chinese food. So I'm confused.
Uncle, coming back to what I can eat, what about cornflakes and breakfast cereals? They should be really healthy, right?
That's equally bad, Ved. The problem with them is that they are manufactured in factories using machines called extruders.
But they look so good, Uncle.
They have to be made attractive for people to buy. Problem with them is that the high temperature processing in factories makes the proteins in them toxic. Probably the fruit that you eat along with these cereals, those are probably the only nutritious items in the breakfast. Rest are all empty calories.
But what are empty calories?
Empty calories are you get from food which has no nutritional value and it just gives calories. What happens is it helps building fat. They don't help body in any way.
But I don't understand, what can we eat for breakfast then?
Nutritionists say that we should eat some fruit. Also drink some lime juice or any other fruit or vegetable juices early morning, because they provide an alkaline base which is essential for our health. After a gap of half an hour or so, eat a good breakfast of idli, dosa, upma, any traditional breakfast or porridge, preferably again with some fruits and vegetables. They say have a breakfast like king, lunch like a farmer, and dinner like pauper. Does that make sense to you? You know, boys, I have a friend of mine, Pooja, who is doing a lot of work in food research. Let me see if I can get her here to meet up with you.
Oh, thanks, uncle.
Pooja?
I think it's more important that he convinces our parents. Because after all, they're the ones who give us our food, right?
Yeah, of course, Ashwin. Parents, are you listening?
We haven't met for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's been long.
Hey, hi. This is Ashwin.
Nice to meet you, Ashwin.
This is Ashwin's friend, Ved.
Hi, nice to meet you, Ved.
Hey, this is Pooja. Okay. Come, sit. We talked about Pooja, right?
Yeah.
Pooja is doing a lot of research on food, as I told you.
Yeah, actually, I am a part of the Bhumi network. We are trying to look into a lot of healthy and safe foods. This automatically means that we see connections with health and even climate change.
You know, these boys are doing a lot of study in food and the impact of food on health and stuff like that. So I think it's good that you people sit and talk. Why don't we do one thing? Why don't we go out and sit in the veranda? Meanwhile, I'll get some tea for you guys.
Hi, I'm Sakshi.
And I'm Rashi, and we love anything sweet. Either it is desserts, brownies, ice creams with excess sugar.
And a little chocolate added to that. Actually, we don't really have it that often, but sometimes we can accept the rule of having little more than we usually do. Actually, I went to the corner house. I was like, we had Death by Chocolate, and by the way, Death by Chocolate has lots of different types of ice creams in it with different flavors. Then they bring it out to you on your table and they pour the nuts like sizzle, sizzle, sizzle.
So what have you guys been talking about?
Actually, with Mohan uncle, we've been discussing the problems related with junk food. But our Ved here doesn't seem to understand that sugars can be a big problem too.
Why is that, Ved? I'm just a little bit confused.
Well, Auntie, I think you should make Ved and our audience understand that sugar is a big problem.
Okay, don't be that dramatic. See, we need sugars. Sugars or just simply refined sugars is not the problem. It's basically how much of it that we take in.
There is naturally occurring sugars in fruits and vegetables as well. So essentially, we need the sugars to live.
That's what I want to know. Just tell me how many colas and how many ice creams I can have in 1 week.
See, we cannot look at it one ice cream, one cola, or even one sweet at a time.
What we need to do is look at our lifestyle and our habits. For instance, now, you guys must be using a lot of sugar in milk, tea, coffee, right?
And then there is a lot of sugar in colas and other aerated drinks as well, right? So what we need to keep in mind is that the empty calories need to be kept to a bare minimum. It's then that, we can do something about it.
So what happens if I have too many colas?
See, our pancreas release an enzyme called insulin, which helps to digest these sugars. Now, if there's excessive sugar
combined with insufficient exercise leads to a metabolic problem over a period of time. Now, 20% or close to 20% of the Indians are said to be suffering from diabetes. And our food habits play a major role here, as do genetics.
Yeah, but I'm more concerned about colas, and us youngsters, that is. What if we eat right at home, do enough exercise? Can't we have at least 1 cola a day?
No, dude, have you seen the Coke? It's just essentially soda water with a lot of chemicals and loads of sugar. I mean, it has chemicals like citric acid, phosphoric acid, carbonic acid, etc.
Ashwin, that's a lot of chemicals.
Yeah.
See, we are not the only ones worried about this. Several studies in the US also show that, cola drinking is directly related to things like cavities, obesity, and even caffeine dependence and weakened muscles.
Yeah, once I saw this interesting experiment where teeth were soaked in cola for a month and it reduced to half its size.
Auntie, we can avoid colas at home, but what do we do in colleges if we're thirsty?
Well, you have other healthy options, right? I mean, what happened to lime juices, fruit juices? A lot of healthy options.
Yeah, but that's so lame.
It would be much easier for everybody if they banned these soft drinks in these campuses. I mean, in the US, they've already started banning such soft drinks.
See, now schools and colleges need to keep in mind that they need to exercise control if they want the students to indulge in healthy eating.
More importantly, the choice is in your hands.
Hey guys,
Hi, Uncle.
some tea for you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Actually, Auntie, that makes sense. But my aunt has diabetes. And I wanted to know why she avoids white rice in the evening.
Is white rice like something like sugar?
See, it's not just white rice, it's polished rice that is the problem. And I have some stuff here that will make much more sense to you once you guys read it. This was an article in the Hindu. It says, white rice is responsible for increasing the incidence of diabetes in India. Possibly 100 years ago, there were no machines to polish rice, and most people in India would have probably eaten nutritious rice.
Wow.
And whole grain rice. And you know, unpolished rice is much more healthier. Sadly, these days we care more for our looks and for the taste in food than actually our health.
Hi, I'm Priyanka and I'm 13 years old and I love fried foods. It's very hard for me to stop from eating them. What happened 2 years ago was that one of my family members, he passed away because of a block in his artery, and that time my parents told me that it's these fatty foods that I have that kind of, cause the block in my artery or anybody's artery. Now it's much easier for me to stop from eating them because I don't want the same thing happening to me.
Pizzas, chicken burgers, veggie burgers, pasta, noodles, french fries have all become common in urban India today. The market for these is still small but growing fast within certain segments. A simple survey in Bangalore city found that 12 out of 25 private schools have junk food sold in or near their campuses. The situation is same in all cities. Colleges have canteens selling junk food and soft drinks. It is considered cool to eat or drink these. Children, parents and schools need to be aware that junk foods or processed foods have several ingredients which taken together can affect the health of children. They contain all or most of these: excessive fats and sugars, excessive salts, trans fats from vegetable oils such as soya oil or refined oil, chemicals such as food additives, food colorants and flavor enhancers, polished cereals like corn or wheat whose nutrients have been removed, vegetables that are not fresh, meats from unknown sources with unknown levels of antibiotics or other chemical preservatives.
So what are these trans fats that Ved talks about, Uncle?
Ashwin, trans fats gets created when hydrogen is added to vegetable oil. What it does is it solidifies the oil, and as a result it can stay longer and it can be used in high temperature applications like baking, etc. etc. But what happens is, as a result of these trans fats, it also affects our health. It reduces good cholesterol and increases bad cholesterol, and it could be bad for heart.
But uncle, if it's so bad, why do people use trans fats?
It's only recently that we got to know that hydrogenated oils have trans fats. Look at this magazine Down to Earth, right? If you look at this article, this talks lots more on the trans fats.
Yeah, uncle, it says here that trans fats are found in many fried foods like french fries, samosas, and even vada pav, and even in baked foods like pizza dough, biscuits.
But does this mean that we can't eat fried foods at all?
No. Actually, one grown-up adult can have about 2 grams of trans fat per day, another 20 grams of other fats per day. But the problem is, when we eat, we don't know which food will contain how much of trans fat. One meal of burger and french fries has about 8 grams of trans fat. You can have it once in 4 days if you decide not to have any other kind of fat during those 4 days. But then, knowing that this food is not good for health, why would you have it?
What about homemade samosas and papad and chips made at home?
See, when oil is reheated, particularly soya oil, sunflower oil or safflower oil, toxins are created. Tell your mother to buy oils like mustard oil, groundnut oil, coconut oil. If you are able to get cold press oil, where factories don't use heat to process these oils, all the more better. Also, we must reduce our intake of fried food. Actually, we should convince ourselves and our mothers.
Hi, I'm Sharan. I'm in the 7th standard.
The first time I ate a non-veg meal was when I was 4 years old. But the first time I actually touched a plate of chicken was when I went to a big buffet, and my father, he brought it to me and he said it was a plate of paneer. So I used to love paneer, and so I walloped it, and then later he tells me it's chicken. Once me and my friends, we actually ate a whole bucket of chicken from KFC, and that's big. That's 9 leg pieces. And so then, yeah, I was sick. I mean, I got a stomach ache and I had puking, and so after that I stayed away from it like 1 month, and then I'm back.
Uncle, I'm a non-vegetarian. So does that mean the meat I consume has trans fats?
No way. Meat by itself is not a problem. It's the oil again which creates the problem of trans fats. With meat, the problem is completely different. It's a question of how the livestock has been reared. For example, factory farmed meat. They have a lot of antibiotics and chemicals in them. According to an FAA report, they also account for 18% of global greenhouse emissions. It takes 25 times more energy to produce 1 kg of meat than to produce 1 kg grain. Limited amount of meats of animals grown in open fields are better for health. If at all, we must eat meat.
Hi, my name is Deeptan.
And I'm Mishti.
And we both are 13.
And we both love food.
Especially my grandmother's fish curry. I love it so much, and I never go out to eat any fish curry. And I always, if I want to eat
You never go out
to eat fish curry. Other times I go out, but still.
It's like, that good?
Yeah, it's awesome. You see, my grandmother makes a specially Bengali style, ultimately tasty with a lot of ingredients. I don't know what it is. I call it the mystery ingredient, which makes it extra tasty.
And I want to come and try it once.
Of course you can.
You know, even I make food, bread at home actually.
Bread? Nice.
Yeah. And I make it out of atta and not maida.
What's the difference?
Atta is more nutritious.
You know, I know I'm addicted to junk food. But why am I so addicted to junk food?
See, nobody gets addicted to cucumber or papaya, though we like this food. It's believed that we have an inherent liking for salty, fatty, sweet food, and that's what creates addiction.
Yeah, you know, come to think of it, most of my favorite foods are all either salty, sweet, or fatty.
The excessive consumption of salt is what is responsible for high blood pressure, strokes, and many other ailments. Actually, the international junk food companies, this helps them because then they can make it, they can store it, they can transport it to different retail outlets, and it can be sold.
Yeah, Uncle, I've heard that these companies, you know, they dominate the food sales in the US, and that's the main reason why Americans are so fat.
I have a book by an American food journalist called Michael Pollan. Here he says, the rates of obesity in Europe are rapidly approaching those of United States, and increases in diabetes and cardiovascular diseases are certain to follow. In this book he says that roughly 2/3 of American society is either overweight or obese. You know, Ashwin, the American way of eating seems to be spreading all over the world. Look at the supermarket foods. Look at the processed food that's available today.
Yeah, Uncle, and there's huge amount of media advertising to promote this American junk food.
Even in India, they have these kind of ads. 2 out of 5 ads on primetime TV are about junk food.
You know, every time there is an ad, we just get taken in by what is attractive, what is the packaging, who is the celebrity who is endorsing it, rather than what is actually in it. So we seem to be losing our instinct for good food. In addition, what we should be careful about is the packaging of these foods. There's so much of packaging in plastic and aluminum, which is not good for our planet, which is not good for our environment. In any case, they have started advertising and selling these products in schools as well.
So uncle, how do we know that these junk foods are causing all these diseases?
Good question, Ved. You know, in this book of Michael Pollan, he talks about a very interesting experiment. In this experiment, about 10 aborigines, middle-aged, overweight, diabetic, living in a settlement in Australia, they participated in this experiment. In the settlement, they used to be eating the American diet, which was full of processed food. And then as part of this experiment, they were taken back to their original homes and they went back to their traditional ways of living and eating. In 7 weeks of their stay over there, it was found that they had lost weight, their diabetics was under control, blood pressure had improved.
So uncle, isn't that enough proof?
Yes, it's a proof, but apart from that, we also have to be concerned about one more aspect, and that's food miles. Food miles is the distance that a food has to travel before it actually comes on the plates of yours and my plate. Take for example, apples that come from China, or apples that come from New Zealand, pasta that comes from Italy, corn that comes from America. All this has to travel kilometers and then come over here. Now what this does is, this increases carbon emission because of the transportation.
So isn't it better to buy local food then, uncle?
Absolutely. The food scientists today are saying that it's better to eat locally grown and locally produced food. That's much more healthy. You can eat fresh food and you are also taking care of the environment in the process.
I guess this is the end of junk food for me.
Yeah, uncle, and let's just hope that things get better on our planet.
Let's hope so, Ashwin and Ved. You know, Americans realized this after 3 decades of eating this kind of food and the kind of impact that they have on their health. Nowadays, they are going back to home cooking and that's becoming a fashion out there. Let's learn from their mistakes. Let's realize that, let's resolve that we will not get addicted to these kind of foods which will have adverse impact on our health. Okay boys, I hope you learned something from this session.
Yeah.
Yes, uncle.
Yeah? And I'm sincerely hoping that both of you would give up your junk foods.
Yeah, we will try.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll try.
You've answered a lot of my questions, but there are new questions coming, but I'll look into those.
Okay.
Thanks for your time, uncle. We really appreciate it.
Good.
Bye.
All the best in your learning.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you, Uncle.
Bye.
Bye.
We can't live without food, right?
Right.
And junk food makes us sick, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And we take food for granted. We eat whatever we want.
Food is actually pretty fascinating.
Food is not a thing. Food is a set of relationships with our health, our families, our culture, our farmers, and even the earth.
This film has got us thinking.
What about you?
Thank you.